off, I'll give everyone a minute to find a seat. We do have some seats up front still. I know you all want to be up close and personal. My mom just waved to me. All right, well, I'm Carrie Sigmund, and I'm the chairman of Destination Caldwell, and you guys have no clue how excited I am to be here today and have you all here with me. It means so much to me and to Destination Caldwell and everyone that's been a part of this. Just a tiny bit before Roger starts, I want to tell you where we've been and how we got here. And it was exactly 2 years ago, yesterday and today, that Roger Brooks first came to Caldwell. He was here on March 12th and 13th of 2013. The Caldwell Chamber of Commerce and the City of Caldwell and others came together and said, you know what, let's find what makes Caldwell unique. Like, what's the first step? And so I worked at Canyon County at the time in the IT department for Councilman Rob Hopper. And I was the Transportation Committee chair at the time and the webmaster for the county. And I was like, read this thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, how can I get to that meeting? So I go into Rob Hopper and I said, so I know this is kind of like a land use planning thing and that used to be my job, but as the webmaster, I'm like really thinking like, how can I get to that meeting? I really think that I can help with our website and promoting tourism if you let me go to that meeting. And so Councilman Hopper agreed to let me go. And after the meeting, I was so inspired. And I have 2 little girls, still do. And he was showing, and he's going to show you things today that are just like, I can see my kids in downtown Caldwell loving Caldwell and being so proud of it and not wanting to leave. And a lot of people in the last 2 years kept saying, why are you donating and volunteering to do this? And it's sincerely for my girls and my family. It's totally selfish. I want my kids to totally love Caldwell and be in love with it like we all are. And I know that you're all here because of the same thing. We are excited for Caldwell. Am I right? Yeah! So, after the chamber hosted the first meeting, they got a group of people together and said, hey, what's it take to get Roger here? It's going to take a little bit of fundraising, a little bit of community investment. And you know what? You guys all stepped up, and as a community, we raised over $65,000 and really came together and showed what we can do as a community. And this ball is rolling like no other. The momentum is gaining every day, and I'm just so excited. So it's my pleasure to introduce you guys to Roger Brooks. He is an internationally renowned planner and motivator, and he's an expert in local branding and creating places where we all want to live, work, and play. So it's my pleasure, Roger Brooks.
Thank you. How is everyone? Good. Good? Can you hear me in the back okay? Yeah. I always have to ask that because the other day I was doing a speaking engagement and about 20 minutes into it there was a commotion in the back and I yelled out real loud, can you hear me back there? And somebody stood up and said, we haven't heard a word you said for the last 20 minutes. And instantly 30 people got up from the front of the room and moved to the back. So for the next hour and 15 minutes or so, we're going to talk about Caldwell. And what we put right here, the very bright future of Caldwell starts right here, right now. History is being made today in Caldwell. History isn't always a point in time. It's always evolving. So that's what we're going to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about, this whole branding thing, most people don't even know what it means unless you happen to be in the livestock industry. But I want to talk about why the heck you're even doing this. And we have 4 main reasons. The first one is we want to put Caldwell on the map as a desirable place to live, visit, and raise a family. And you know there's some perceptions out there about Caldwell that are not all desirable. And they're just perceptions, they're not realities. So we got to put Caldwell on the map as not even desirable, the place to live in the Treasure Valley. And then number two, we want to differentiate you from the other 200 cities and towns in the state of Idaho, let alone those in Oregon, Washington, and the states around you. Here's the thing. We have the world at our fingertips in a fraction of a second via the web. And you know what? We don't type in Caldwell first. We type in job opportunities, Southwest Idaho. Or we type in best Italian restaurant, Caldwell. But Caldwell's second. I should say that. The best steakhouse. And so, or we type in horseback riding, Idaho. Or we look for new residential subdivisions, Boise area. But see what I do when we use the websites? We never type in the city first. We type in what we're looking for and a general location. So we got to differentiate you because we can find all 200 communities and the 450 in Oregon at our fingertips in about half of a second. So what sets you apart? And then the third thing is, we want to slow the leakage of locally earned money. You know, one of the biggest challenges you have in Caldwell is you earn money here and you spend it somewhere else. Whether it's in Nampa, whether it's in Boise, wherever Costco is, Meridian, wherever it is, that is your biggest challenge right there. That's your biggest challenge. And then number four, to make downtown Caldwell a vibrant, active gathering place and a showcase for the entire Midwest, or the entire West Coast, excuse me. And so that's what we're trying to do. Downtowns are important. We're going to talk about that. And so when it comes to this whole branding, there's two types. There is the generic brand of we're a great place to live, work, and play. And by the way, 3,500 cities and towns across the U.S. use those very words. This is the economic development brand. How do we increase local spending and the value? Wouldn't it be cool if the commercial sector in Caldwell carried more of the tax loads? See, that's all part of this. And so this is about cash. I hate to say that. I hate to be that base. But you know what? This is about how do we get more cash coming into Caldwell? Whether it's people pulling off of the freeway or people in neighboring. Wouldn't it be good if the neighboring towns came here instead of the other way around?
Yeah.
And so that's what this is about. And this is called the balance of trade. You know what? Cities, there's less and less federal money out there. There's less and less state money out there. So cities all of a sudden have to compete like businesses. You have to find your niche. Businesses find their niche now. You know, attorneys specialize, real estate agents specialize, doctors specialize, consultants specialize. And so what you have to do is narrow your focus so that you can import more cash than you export. So here's the 10 things you need to know about branding. And I've done this before here in workshops, so I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. But the first thing is branding is what sets you apart from everyone else. You're not trying to be like Nampa or Boise or Meridian or other cities and towns around you. You can go wherever it is. What sets you apart? What makes you different? Number two, it's a perception. When you say to somebody, I'm from Caldwell, what do they say back? I'll give you one good example. Jordan, where's Jordan? There he is over there. Jordan's part of our team, and I'm going to introduce him and Greg in a minute here. And Jordan, they live in Seattle. They're in Seattle. And he told a friend of his that we're heading over to Caldwell, Idaho. And he goes, well, you better watch out for the gangs. Now, it's not here. But what happens is perceptions hang on. And we're going to change the story. But that's what a brand is. It's what people think of you when you say, I'm from Caldwell. And how that starts, it starts with visual cues. You know, I got to tell you, as you're coming down 84, it says Caldwell, next few exits. What do you see off the freeway? It's not very pretty. So people are judging the book by the cover. Is it fair? Absolutely not. Because the second they go out in the wine country, they go, wow, now this is beautiful. But they're making those judgments. Or they will do it by people and attitudes. If we take the exit, stop at one of the restaurants or buy gas, as we're cruising through, what do they say? What do they like? And then it's word of mouth. And then publicity, social media. By the way, those two just combined. These days, social media is about word of mouth. That's how brands are formed, fair or not. Number 3, logos and slogans. We're talking about our neighbors. Local politics is the #1 killer of any branding effort. Number 2 is lack of champions. And number 3 is lack of money, both public and private. Everything you're going to see today relies on a public-private partnership. So far, like in downtown, it's been a lot of public-public. And so, by the way, the reason lack of champions is in yellow there. If you have the right champions in place, they will get through the politics and they will make it happen. They will find the money. Every time. It takes that little handful of people that really make a profound difference. There's never a fourth one. And so what's been happening since I came here 2 years, that's cool that it was 2 years ago exactly today that I was here, for 2 full days. And a lot of you sat here for 2 full days over at the event center. And what we've been doing since then, over the last 6 to 8 months, is going through a 13-step branding process. I was like, hey, doesn't it? And so I'm going to walk you through these steps. The very first one is we put together a brand development team, BDT. And we were the outside support. By the way, we were not here as a consulting team. We were here as facilitators. People from the outside can come here and plop. How can I come from the outside and come plop a brand on Caldwell? This is your brand. We were only here to be the facilitate the effort. So this came from this team. These are the members of our team, and they're coming up here right now. These people, by the way, we got here Monday morning. They have been with us Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. They're here this morning, and I would like them to stand up because they have donated a whole lot of time. So stand up, team. And even among our team, we've had some tough moments. I mean, that's how tough it is. So when we're done, if you see anybody with a badge, you make sure that you go up to them and tell them what you think and what you'd like to see. And if you like it, tell them. We're looking to turn everybody into champions. But they have donated so much time, not just this week, but over the last 6 months. As a matter of fact, they've been spending the last 2 years. I got to tell you that we've worked in 1,000 cities. We've worked in 45 states, every Canadian province, and a lot in Western Europe. That's the area we work in. We get to pick and choose projects we get to do. They had to wait a year for my schedule to open up because we take reservations. Here's the point. You know what really made a difference for us? When you guys go out there and you're raising $500 here, and $300 there, and $1,000 here, and you spend a year raising to bring us here, it makes us extremely proud. It is very touching. And so we have incredible incentive to do the very, very best for Caldwell. And so for us, that really means a lot. And look, we've got a great crowd today and great participation. There is a lot of people that want to make a difference in Caldwell. And this team has been awesome this week. So we've done that. They've been working with us. The next thing we did is we went out there and asked you. We put an online questionnaire out there. And as a matter of fact, 1,400, we had more people per capita weigh in than any place we've ever worked. Woo-hoo! Plus, we interviewed more than 90 people. We got lots of emails, calls. We looked at the work that you're already doing, which is cool, and the work you've done, like in Eden Creek. And so we did this, and it was really cool. We asked 9 questions, and they're all essay questions. Some of the answers were a little sarcastic. Some of them were pretty funny, but most of them were very thought-provoking and very good. So now remember I said you can't do branding by public consent? You still ask. You ask and you take all of your ideas and then you have to figure out which one is the most feasible. So public is very important to this. Now, this is 56% of the people that took the questionnaire live in Caldwell. We had no problem with people in Nampa, Boise, and other areas also weighing in Caldwell because you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if they came here instead of you going there? See what I mean? So we were okay with that. We had more than 60% were female, which is absolutely perfect because we know who really makes the decisions at the end of the day. Women account for 80% of all consumer spending. I'm hearing the guys muttering. I'm waiting for the guy that says that's all. But women also make 70% of decisions when we travel somewhere. See what I mean? So that was good. And your age was very balanced. We had college students from right here at College Idaho. We had people that were retired. We had a pretty good gamut. And what we heard is places we asked, where do you go, friends and family? They did say Indian Creek, Night Rodeo, wineries, College Idaho, local events. But then we asked them, where do you go when you hang out? And they almost everybody said Boise, Meridian, and Nampa. They didn't say Caldwell. That's leakage. We have to fix that. But that's why we ask these questions. The greatest assets were College Idaho and Indian Creek. Now these are just general because if all 1,400, everybody had differing opinions. But these are some of the things we heard from you. The challenges: we need downtown development, perception of crime and violence, lack of shopping, dining, and activities. Our committee, our brand team heard that loud and clear. And then the business environment, Caldwell needs to be improved, was another common message we heard. And then another thing we heard was to increase local and visitor spending, concentrating on downtown. We also heard that, we said, what do you want to be known for? And people said Indian Creek, wine country, food, the College Idaho, art, sports, biking festivals. So we had to figure out a way to make, which one of those makes the most sense. So which one do we hang our hat on? Or can we combine some of those? When it comes to portraying a feeling, people love the country living here in Caldwell. You're really an urban community, but with a country setting, and people love that. Family friendly, clean and safe, great place to go hang out. So we asked. Then the third thing we did, we had to figure out who the heck are we even trying to attract? And so just so you understand that you have 62,000 people. 62,000 people live within a 5-mile radius of Kimball and Arthur Street right downtown. A block away from the State House. $62,000. This entire thing is about how do you get the people in Caldwell to spend more time and more money in their own community, and when their friends and family visit them, they got to take them downtown, and it's more than just the creek. Because you haven't monetized it yet. You've got the creek, it's beautiful. We walk and see the Christmas lights, we do all of those things, but you know what? Is any place open besides the State House? Not much. Or the bird stop. You don't want to forget the bird stop. They're great too. But, and there's a couple others. Then, once we get these people to come here, look at that. Within 10 miles, you have 150,000 people here. We're still not in Boise. And then, if we go out, and obviously, wouldn't it be cool if we could get the students here on campus to go beyond Pita Pit and the human being? Right? We have to make it cool for them. And then, look at this. Look at that number. We're one of the fastest growing areas in the United States. 640,000 people live within a 30-minute drive of you. But remember, this is our first goal right there. This is about the people of Caldwell. And then finally, look at that number. 42 million people drive through Caldwell every year. Yeah, a lot of those are duplicate because we're commuting. But you know what? Even if half of those were commuters, that's 20 million people driving through. You know what? If you get people to pull off on 10th Street and spend 2 hours in Caldwell spending doubles, do you know if they spend the night at quadruples? Wouldn't it be cool when people come to football games here, if they said, when we're done, let's head downtown? Wouldn't that be cool? How many people come here for events? As soon as the event's over, they pop back in their car and they're gone. That's what we want to change. So there it is. There you go. You can see right there, there's our 5-mile radius, there's our 10-mile radius, and there's that 30-mile radius. That's our goal. Wouldn't that be cool? But then we have to figure, well, we want people that already work in Caldwell but don't live here to say, yeah, I'm moving to Caldwell. It's really cool. That's one of our goals. Then, people looking to relocate to the greater Boise area, one of the fastest growing areas in the United States, wouldn't it be cool if they said, you know what, well, yeah, we're going to look at Nampa, we're going to look at Caldwell, we're going to look at more than just Boise. Wouldn't that be cool? And so we have to position ourselves to do that. And then we want the youth. I don't know how many of you have had kids that before they even graduate from high school, the second they say the second I graduate, I belong this town. I mean, this happens a lot across the country. Matter of fact, 50% of the population of the United States now lives in urban areas. They expect it to grow to 70% by 2030. We want them back. And we have to give them a cool place to live in order to keep them here. And then those looking for family-centric, activity-driven downtown. That's the lifestyle we want. Those looking for country living, cultural depth. You know, one thing is you have a lot of culture here, but it's kind of buried and hidden. Got to bring it to the surface. We want to connect to our roots. That we want to make sure that this is an agricultural place. Matter of fact, one thing that's really important in this is to protect the agricultural roots of the Caldwell area. Because you see what's happening in Nampa. I mean, no offense to Nampa, but along the freeway, car dealerships and Costco's and you name it, it's all becoming very commercial. Protecting those roots is really important. And then entrepreneurial, market fresh. We knew we were going to do something like right around country living. And so we want people that would fit into that to want to live here and move here. That's what we're trying to target. So we've done all that. We compiled what we heard from you, who we're going to attract, and began the filtering process. Always do what you're afraid to do. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So our team came up with, I think, 5 primary things. They said, well, you know what? The ones that were most feasible were wine. And really hanging your hat on Center Slope Wine Trail. One nice thing about wine is it adds cachet to Caldwell. See, it's a different story. And by the way, Nampa and Boise and all these cities around you are claiming your wineries that have Caldwell addresses. You need to claim them. And then culinary, we thought should be part of this. You know, farm-to-fork dining, locally sourced food. Even Indian Creek Steakhouse sources a lot of their food locally. We want more of that. And then biking was one of the options. Microbrews was one of the options. And then, you know, tied to food and wine. And then an amazing downtown was the last one, with a program plaza. Now, what we did is we did end up with biking. It doesn't mean that biking isn't part of it, but it's not our brand focus. As a matter of fact, we didn't even include microbrews as a brand focus, although there's already talk of one coming into town by a local merchant that's already here, and so we can still have those things. But we thought, could we hang this on wine, culinary, and an amazing downtown? That's where we ended up with in the feasibility testing. So you know what has to happen after this? We haven't done this one quite yet. Who's going to lead the effort? Our brand development team found what you're going to see here in a couple minutes. We need to know who in this audience is going to go out there and champion this and make this happen. You've had a lot of false starts at Caldwell. There will not be a false start this time. But we need those champions. And if you never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world, and indeed it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. Love that quote. When odds are 1 in a million, be that one. And then here, if you like what you see here in the next few minutes, you're all anxious, aren't you? You say, you know, I kind of like this brand. It's kind of cool. Yeah, you know, I can get used to that. You're not on the team. Then you go, yes, this is the coolest thing ever. This is why I'm here. Then absolutely we want you. We need you. We need a unified voice. They are doers, not directors. This is not going to be somebody that just says, well, who's going to implement all of this and we'll just show up at a meeting once a month. You're actually going to be doing stuff. They need to be willing to take some hits because not everybody's going to agree. They will be brand cops. There's a look, there's a feel to it. We got to protect it. We don't want Joe's muffler using the logo when it has nothing to do with muffler shop. See what I mean? Things like that. Hopefully there's no Joe's muffler. More than half should have a vested interest in the brand. So if you're in the wine industry, the food industry, you're in the country living farm experience industry, if you have a vested interest in the brand, you're more willing to champion it because your paycheck depends on it. And then they're the voice of the brand. We need our brand leadership people to go speak to Kiwanis and Rotary and Lions and the library board and City Hall, the City Council, and to the county commissioners and school boards. You've got to go out because you know what? This brand you're seeing today, there's no asking you, are you okay with it? We have to sell it. Okay? And number 7, they can't be politically divisive in the community. They can be elected officials. They just can't be politically divisive where people don't want to talk to them about it. And then act as a steering committee for brand-related projects, wayfinding signage, a lot of things you're going to see. They will push the agenda forward and never take no for an answer, and at least half should be under 40. So how many are going, oh, just count me out? The reason is, this can't be the Good Old Boys Network. The future Caldwell rests in its youth. If you're 41, we'll let you in. But you get the idea. We want to make sure that the youth are very well represented. There we go, right there. Yeah, there we go, right there. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. That's my life's motto. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And you know, I love this quote too. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, wow, what a ride! Those are brand champions. That is what Walt Disney was. That is what they did in Branson, Missouri, a town of 6,500. It has 49 music theaters. It always took 1 or 2 people that lived by that model. And if this is you, let us know. Anybody wearing one of these little badges? Okay? In Alpena, Michigan, I want to show you. This is their notice. It's all thumbs up. And by the way, Jeff right here, you know, this is a town of 10,000. Even though we have all these people here, it's Missy right here, Jeff right here that really carried the torch. And then he would come along, of course, because he's married to her and would do whatever she says. That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? You know, in Edmonton, Alberta, it always came down to Stephen and Murray carrying the torch. You know, over here was Barb and Rob, our goofy good guy up there. You know, in Bracebridge, Ontario. Get back there. I wasn't done yet. Where is it? There it is. Allison over here, our young one, and Cheryl over here, they were the ones that really carried the torch. There's always a few people, we need you. So then number 6. This week we've been working on what's the brand, what's the product. Remember, brands are built on product. And so it includes an amazing program plaza. Here's the deal. If we can get people downtown 250 days a year, the retailers will follow. That is how you do downtown. You don't put retail shops there and then customers have to find you and follow you. Now Dylan at Indian Creek did that, but for him it's taken a long time. There's still a lot of people here who don't even know he exists because they don't go downtown. And so the litmus test is 250 days. So there has to be activity 250 days. Right now you have 70 days where people walk and see the lights. That's not enough for me to open a business now. And you do a couple of events, Farm to Fork on the bridge, you know, those kinds of things. You got to get up to that. And even there, the business still have another 115 days they have to deal with where you're not going to have a program. A reimagined downtown business mix. I'm going to show you that. Nightlife. And we're not talking about the bar scene. We're not trying to compete with Boise. But things to do after work on weekends. You know, a wayfinding system so we can find your stuff. And then visitor information kiosks at like Best Western, visitor information kiosks here on campus. You know, so people know what you have and where it's at. A year-round public market, downtown beautification would be really cool. You know, the Sunny Slope Wine Trail wayfinding. Right now it just says wine region out there. Well, you know, wine region is huge. It goes all the way up to the Tri-Cities of Washington. But following a wine trail makes it cool and making it easy to do. These are just a few of those things. And even when it comes to businesses downtown, we already have a list of the businesses we would like to see there. And some of them are already here. You know, you already have a steakhouse. You already have one of your coffee shops. You know, we'd like to see the little bakery out on the boulevard move downtown. You know, so these are also, some of them are already there. But if you had all this stuff downtown, you know what? Wouldn't you go downtown? Wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, this is cool. This is fun. So we're looking for these. This is not all. But that's what we want. But what comes first is people. You know what happened? In the 1950s after World War II, the word suburban came up. The residential suburban communities came up. And people moved from downtowns out to the suburbs. JCPenney, Woolworth, Sears. Remember all those stores that used to be downtown? They went. Suburban malls started happening. Guess what? No suburban mall has been built in the United States in the last 25 years. They are dying. People want downtowns. So you know what they do? They go to Meridian, they build a pretend downtown. It's a lifestyle retail center. And by the way, it's beautiful and a lot of you in Caldwell shop there. But the thing is, it's not organic to you. But the reason they build those is because people want downtown, so they mimic it. We don't even want any change in your downtown. We want it to be all Caldwell. And this is a good start. You know, the plaza is the heart of this. I always say people are the heart of a downtown, the plaza is the soul. We are moving to the European standard. You know, this is in Siena, Italy. In Italy, every single city and town is built around a piazza and it's lined with restaurants. It has to be monetized. In Europe, they eat later at night. We're moving that way. Did you know that 70% of all consumer retail spending down takes place after 6 p.m.? Let me say that again. 70% of all consumer spending takes place after 6 p.m. Why do you think Walmart's open until 11 o'clock or midnight or 24 hours a day? And your grocery stores. And even banks in the old days that closed at 3 in the afternoon are now open later. And many banks are even open on weekends, right, Jim? And so this is what we're moving to. We're in the age of third places. The first place is the place we live. The second place is the place we work. And the third place is the place we go to hang out. Starbucks built an entire brand around that. You know what? The Bird Stop is doing that. It's a cool place to hang out. That's what we're doing. That's where we're at. So I want to show you one example. We're working in Rapid City, South Dakota. By the way, their population is 67,000 within a 10-mile radius. You have 62,000 within a 5-mile radius. Right downtown, we said, we want you to build a plaza right here. Get rid of these 60 parking spaces. You don't even need to make them up because it'll be worth the walk. And I even told them, tear down the Sears building. Well, they didn't. A guy bought the Sears building and said, no way, Roger, I'm buying the Sears building. And he helped contribute to the plaza. This is what it looks like now. There's a stage right here. That Sears building's full of restaurants. This is about 8,000 square feet. They've got about a 1,500 square foot splash pad right there. They've got all these areas. And also when they built Main Street Square, people came back. And by the way, this little splash pad is active 120 days a year. Remember, I said you need 240? There's 120 right there. And in the winter, guess what? 120 days. There's 240 days. They have an ice rink down there. You know what? Destination Rapid City, you're going to have Destination Caldwell doing this for you. Destination Rapid City makes $130,000 a year just renting ice skates. And they have to dole them out because they built it too small. Their whole plaza is too small. I mean, they didn't even include the sidewalks in their plaza, which you know what? We're not going to make that mistake in Caldwell. Their stage is so small that they're having to figure out how do we add extensions onto it. But here's the point. They spend $8 million. You don't have to spend that kind of money. You know what happened is people complained about it. Well, you know, if you build plaza downtown, it's going to drain people out of my stores, or it's more public money, and you know, I could hear all the arguments already. So you know what I did? And they said, you're getting rid of the parking, you're not making it up. So I went to them and I said, this is like 2 years after it opened. I said, make me a list of the 20 people that were most against it. Retailers downtown. So they gave me a list, and I went in and I found 14 of them where I could talk to the owner or the manager. And I asked every single one of them, and I did a face and I go, you know that plaza over there? Is that thing really helping you in the business? I'm trying to evoke a negative response from them. And every single one of them said it's the best thing Rapid City has ever done. Every single one. It's the same in Caldwell. There are no retail vacancies. There is lower turnover. Went from like 10% down to almost 0. Businesses are now open later in the evening. Retailers are breaking sales records more and more and more. I mean, the average population, 2 years after the plaza opened, the average age of a person buying a home dropped 12 years. The youth were coming back. Rapid City is now a great place for conference, conventions, trade shows. You know, I mean, look at this. It is the central gathering place. It's a year-round activity center. It includes interactive water features and ice. You know, it's programmed at least 250 days a year. The one in Rapid City is 300 days a year. You know, Steve that does your economic development from Anderson, Indiana. Theirs was busy 300 days a year. People started complaining that was too busy. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? You know, if we get 1,000 people downtown 300 days a year, you know what? You'd have that. Downtown would be the place to go in the entire valley. It includes a stage, lighting, sound system. It incorporates retail food year-round, vendors. And so we want you to create the Indian Creek Plaza. And you know, these are some of these. This right here, by the way, we all want to show you this. This is where Arthur Street is. We're even recommending to close Arthur Street to make it big enough. And this, you have this. This little area right here is 10,000 square feet. But notice how it all. If you put this and tie it all into Indian Creek, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have the showcase downtown in the entire western United States. And we've been in all 50 states and worked in 45 of them. And it's really, honestly, what you have is a stunning, beautiful park on Indian Creek. Now you have a way to monetize it. And so this is from a little different angle. Let's see where we're at here. So this is where Arthur Street is right now. And we'd have these boulevards of trees with shade trees, so you can do dining underneath the trees in the shade. And those trees light up at night, so it creates a safe, friendly environment. You know, you'd have a great stage there. Trees like this is exactly what we're talking about. This is in Whistler Resort, which is another project I was involved with. And by the way, every one of these is a seating area around the trees. So I want to create these boulevards like that. Wouldn't it be cool if Destination Caldwell could have these little vendor booths like this? Did I go past? There we go. Or like this. And they can rent them out. This is an incubator for small businesses where they're selling hats, logo gear, belts, leather goods, equestrian goods, whatever. We want to bring this plaza to life. You know, people sell cotton candy. And all those buildings, you know where I'm talking about right now downtown where the site's been cleared? All those buildings would need to open up on the back side so you could have outdoor dining like this. Oh my gosh. It'd be you would absolutely be the coolest place ever. And every single planter, this is in downtown Disney. Disney does a really cool thing. By the way, this is about people. It's not about architecture. It's not about a pretty park. It's about people. So in this case, all their planters are raised. Notice the nice curved edges there? Because every one of them is a seating surface. We want places for people to hang out. And then we're going to ask, we want college students down there playing guitars and accordions, and does anybody play accordion anymore? But you know what I mean? And they're playing music down there. I'll bet you do. And so that's what this is about. This will be the showcase. Every town needs an anchor tenant. This is that. So if you can imagine, this circle right here might go down like 1.5 feet. And notice it's got a splash pad in the middle. It's all flush mountain fountains kids can play in. The one Rapids is 1,500 square feet. Yours is going to be 5,000 square feet, if not 7,000 square feet. The final design hasn't been done yet. We're still working on that. But that would be 5, and then parents can sit around here. And by the way, you can shut off these fountains. You can fill this whole thing full of chairs and tables and have concerts on the stage. Marching bands, Shakespeare, country music, you name it. It's going to be a gathering place. And then you can even do little beer gardens. Notice we have vendors over here. We got all our outdoor dining. We have all this vendor space. We have all these wine places. Then we got Indian Creek. Even it would be programmed. So it's part of it rather than just a pretty place. It's part of the gathering place. This could be the coolest thing you've ever done. Once again, we're moving to the European standard. We want places to hang out. We want those third places. And this will help those businesses that have already invested in downtown and are struggling to get people to come there on a regular basis. Number 7, now we write the brand promise. It's not number 1. We didn't do logo. I haven't gotten to logos yet. It's the promise. It's our mission statement. How do you make it different? How do you make it memorable? How do you get it to evoke emotion? How do you get people to say, oh my gosh, yeah, that's cool. So the brand promise for Caldwell is this: to position Caldwell as Idaho's premier gathering place. Get that? With a focus on locally produced wines along the Sunny Slope Wine Trail, market fresh goods, and farm-to-fork dining. Our crew yesterday was having a whole lot of fun. We even did, what was it? Farm to fork, farm to cork, dork to fork. We heard it all. That is why we need to protect the agricultural heritage of Caldwell, not let it get overgrown and not let it become just an extension of Boise coming this way. Got to protect the farms. Got to protect the wineries. And we love the fact that it's a mix of farms and wineries and ranchers. It's that mix that makes you cool. We're not trying to be Napa Valley. You know, country living at its finest. It's about families. And so our brand colors are locally produced wines to really put them front and center. You know, farm to fork dining, raw and prepared foods. Not all of it's grown right here. As a matter of fact, most of the crop that's grown here are seed crops and things that are wholesaled out. But there are lots of little farms everywhere. Wouldn't it be cool if we could have a really cool public market downtown? That's in the works. That's one of our goals. Market fresh goods. You know, and so we have to make a bold statement. We have to claim it. We have to own it. That's what brand's about. Napa Valley owns the wine brand. You know, Nashville owns the country music brand. Orlando owns the kids and family brand. Evoke emotion. And then make it memorable. And then elevate yourself above the fray. And that brings us to number 8. Now we do the look and feel of the brand. Go ahead, Greg. Woo! Greg, stand up. And Jordan. Greg is our creative director. And Jordan right there is We've been here since Monday morning. And I gotta tell you, we got here early so we could go out and experience your wine country. And I gotta tell you, we went out, is it Highway 55? We went over this bluff and we just went, OMG. We did. Well, oh my gosh, we went to St. Chappelle, we went over to Houston, we went all over the place. And we were just blown away because it was the first time we ever got very far off of 84. It changed our entire perception. So what you're going to see, Greg has been working on this week. Talk about under fire. Because here's the deal. What you're going to see, we did with you, not for you. So we actually set up a design studio. You can only see Greg's forehead, so we just call him Forehead this week. Because he's behind a big monitor. And so, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. We had this cool idea. You know, and it was really good. We had this cool idea. You know those old cool fruit crates, you know, like the 1950s with the cool designs on them. We thought, man, we ought to do something like that. And then the other night, we went and ate out at Orchard House. And I walked in there and I went, oh my gosh, there they are. I walked out of there buying Sunny Slope. I mean, this is cool stuff. Here's the Sunny Slope Wine Festival. And here we're going, yeah, this is what we want it to look like. You know, we don't want it to be hit country, we want it to be cool country. And we thought those were really cool, so we went there, we said, I think we did the right thing, and I think our group thought this. And so you're going to see some samples. They're made to put you in the film. They're not 100% bad. And so, here's the first one. Old MacDonald never had it this good. Let me read you what it says. Just 30 minutes from Boise and in the heart of the Treasure Valley is beautiful Caldwell, Idaho. Home to rolling hills dotted with scenic farms, orchards, and vineyards. Home to an incredible Sunny Slope wine trail, Lake Lowell, and meandering rivers. A place where urban amenities are just a few minutes away, yet Caldwell residents and visitors soak in the clean air, enjoy country living, and a healthy, invigorating way of life. You okay with that? Yeah. This is the message we're trying to put out there. You know, here's another one. Taste the good life. Now, this one here is amazing. Is just one word that often used to describe the incredible Indian Creek Plaza district. Give downtown a name. Downtown just says a geographic location. The Indian Creek Plaza district sounds like a destination. Home to nearly 300 activity-filled days a year, great restaurants, incredible shops, and Idaho's best public market. Remember, we're not there yet. We're not going to go put this out there next week. Downtown Caldwell is quickly becoming one of the West's best places to spend time. Renowned for its Sunny Slope wine trail, country living, and market fresh, farm to fork dining, you're going to fall in love with beautiful Caldwell, Idaho. So this is what Three Dog Night meant. You know, I said we're supposed to cater to people under 40. Jordan goes, it's Three Dog Night. So, how many of you know who Three Dog Night is? How many of you remember the song Out in the Country? You just dated yourselves. But we wanted to have fun. You know? And here's what it says. When life becomes too fast, I find relief at last out in the country. When Paul Williams wrote this song, he must have had Caldwell, Idaho on his mind. Incredible country living just minutes away from urban amenities with rolling hills, lakes, rivers, and stunning farms. This is country living at its finest. Featuring the Sunny Slope Wine Trail, farm to fork dining, and an incredible array of shops and activities in downtown Indian Creek Plaza District. This is where you really can taste the good life. Beautiful Caldwell in the legendary Treasure Valley of Idaho. And finally the last one, you can bet the farm on Caldwell. This is our favorite. Caldwell, Idaho. where you can have an incredible life and an amazing career. This is more for economic development. In heavenly country living, good food, great wines, awesome recreation, in an amazing Treasure Valley setting just 30 minutes west of Boise. Affordable country living, terrific neighborhoods, incredible schools, and a downtown alive with music, great food, and fantastic shops. You can bet the farm that Caldwell is a great move in business and in life. So now you know what we have to do next? We have to develop the action plan. And by the way, branding, what is it you want to be known for? And then there's development. What do we have to do so you own it? And then how do we tell the world? And it is a to-do list. I mean, the last thing we ever want to do is a 300-page plan that nobody ever reads past the executive summary. We believe in action plans, not strategic plans. Strategy, goals, and objectives take no more than 3 pages. You know, it's a to-do list. Let's say, here's a description of the recommendation. Here's who's charged with implementation. Our 2 main partners are the Chamber of Commerce and Destination Caldwell. This is grassroots. And then our other partners, the City of Caldwell. Businesses in Caldwell. But who's charged with it? I mean, everybody, Rotary, Kiwanis, everybody's going to have a role to play. And then we give you the project cost. What's it going to cost to develop it? Where would the money come from? And when would it be done? And what's the rationale for doing it? That's an action plan. And your action plan doesn't have to be, this is Alpina's, because we haven't done yours yet. We're working on it. But you know, you might have 2 recommendations per page. You know, and that's what this is about. It's a to-do list. You go right down that to-do list, start checking things off. You know what's really cool about doing this is the typical economic development express. Does that look about right? Isn't that right? Really clipping along, aren't they? All of a sudden, you're going to have all these local organizations singing out of the same hymnal and actually on the same page. And you're going to go from this to this. Because you know what? We've even had differences of opinions this week. But you know what the bottom line is? We all want the same thing. I mean, that's the bottom line. Number 10. You have to make something happen. Wouldn't it be cool in the next month or so right downtown, all of a sudden pole banners start coming out? Kind of cool pole banners. That might look like that. No, they're not up yet. Greg did a good job photoshopping. But wouldn't that be cool? So you might have a farm to fork. You might have a farm to cork one. You know, and you do this and you put these all over downtown. You know, part of this project is doing a wayfinding system. Wouldn't it be cool? By the way, this it's metalwork. You can see through it. It mimics the bridges over the creek. That goal. Way to go. Woo-hoo. Great work. And so, we're making it easy for us to find what you got and where it's located. So just make something happen. Then you got to keep the energy high. This is so important. Forget all the reasons why something may not work. You only find one good reason why it will. There are going to be people say we don't really need a plaza. You do. And you cannot fold to the cavers. Do you know what cavers are? Here you go. Citizens against virtually everything. You probably got 1 or 2 in Caldwell. And I love, here's our champions. A diamond is merely a lump of coal that did well under pressure. That is how you're going to make this happen. There is no reason that 36 months from today you can't be out there on that plaza. Because it does take about a year to build. It takes about a year to raise the money. It takes about 10 months or so to actually design the final things. But within 36 months, you can have the best downtown in the Western United States. Yeah. From right there. I can tell you, when it comes to economic development, there's these people called site selectors. You know what they do? They come into town and they look at the sites where they can build factories and things like that. Then they say, now take me downtown. Because sites like yours judge your downtown. The health of your downtown is the health of the community economically. When you do this, they're going to say, oh my gosh, my employees want to live here. I want to live here. My business wants to be here. That's what this will do. What we're doing is making downtown the nucleus. You, as a city, have already invested millions of dollars down there. It's time to monetize it. And then number 12, tell the world. You know, we want to create a brochure, the very best in Colorado, promoting your best restaurants, your best retail shops. And Greg came up with that. That's great. First press. Get the play? You know, and then our key marketing messages would be farm to fork certified. We thought, wouldn't it be cool if restaurants, a third of their foods or 25% of foods or something were locally sourced, so we could actually do farm to fresh certified. Wouldn't that be cool? And you would own it. So we have to put that together. Farm to cork events, taste the good life. You can bet the farm on Caldwell. It's all part of these marketing messages. Incredible country living. Idaho's best gathering place. You know, the Sunny Slope Wine Trail is huge in this. Market fresh goods. I mean, legendary Treasure Valley. I mean, it's such a great name. We've got to leverage it. You know, we even created icons for these things. Isn't that cool? These are those labels you can use. There's going to be brand posters. We want to see them on the walls in the college, City Hall, everywhere. They might look like that. Taste the good life. We used a few stock photos for this, and we're going to replace those with Caldwell photos. Wouldn't it be cool if even cities' vehicles look like that? Or even like that? We already took the liberty of redesigning Steve's business cards for him over at the city in economic development. Wouldn't that be cool? See? And it doesn't even have to cost you any money. It's just when you're on business cards, all of a sudden you have new ones. Wouldn't it be cool if you had logo gear like that? Or wouldn't it be cool to have, I want one of those cutting boards. Isn't that cool? See, it all fits the brand. Wouldn't it be cool to have hats like that? Or even coasters like that, that just burnished right into it, just like the old time crates. You know, wouldn't it be cool to have little flash drives that look like that? Isn't it cool? It's all about the farm. All about that. That's the idea. And wouldn't it be cool to have etched glasses like that? You need to send us some. We expect them next week. No. But this is how cool this can be. And then finally, the last thing. You never, ever give up. You revisit the plan. The plan you're going to get is one that sits on your desk, not on a shelf. So if you want to be part of this, it's going to be awesome. Because Caldwell is an incredible place that deserves a lot more than even what its locals think of it in many regards. And this is going to make you an amazing destination. And we're so glad that you let us be part of your journey. And so here's what's going to happen. I am done. But you can talk to our committee. You'll see them wearing badges. Ask them questions. And thank you so much for letting us be part of your journey. Thank you very much.